we're back. Wearing the same outfits.
Chaos&Booklore.
Woohoo!
You get an intro? Maybe.
You don't.
You'll see, I guess.
Oh.
It'll be here.
All right.
We are doing our August TBR. No, not August
No,
TBR.
not August TBR. It's August wrap up and our September TBR.
Yes.
And thank God for this because I started reading a little bit before we decided to go into this adventure.
Same.
And then I was like, oh my God, I want to just start fresh. I don't want to have the set of books that I was reading. I want to just have a clean slate. So I'm excited.
Yeah, same. So, August. We are actually filming this in August. It's August 29 right now. So
Yes.
towards the end of August. We have finished quite a few books. Not as much as some other book readers, but we are getting there.
We are getting there. We're starting up.
Yeah.
And I think the whole idea is to get back into reading after our very traumatic experience
In university and college.
in university and college. I mean, we were privileged to be able to read a lot of books, but the process was grueling.
And it really took the fun out of reading.
It really did.
So we're trying to get back in. Not that we don't read at all. We do. We have read since university.
We have.
It's just that it's not as we don't do it as prolifically as we did before. It's something that we might read like a novella,
Yeah.
a short story here or there. I read manga, and which are books, but they're more like shorter comic books, and I haven't read like a novel until like this year. So it's been a while since I've read an actual like literary novel.
I feel you. I think for me, it was COVID really did it. COVID, the pandemic really did it for me. I haven't read in a very, very long time. I was pretty much traumatized because what we basically had to do is, I think we had like 5 courses. We had to read a book per week for each course. So that was like 5 books. We had to annotate, remember our notes, and then write a grueling essay about the like mundane stuff.
Wouldn't have fallen so out of love with reading during that time.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. But I'm glad, as besties, we have decided that we were going to motivate each other
Yeah.
to get back into reading.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many books we read, doesn't matter what our goal is,
Yeah.
but just to get back into it and like
Find joy in it again.
Yeah.
Find some levity. To be honest, it's really funny because we started reading around the same time like this year, and we just started talking about it, and I was just like, wow, we're really both reading again. That's
Yeah.
very interesting. And I think it's just because like so much in our lives were going weird that the books was great escape. It's the great escape.
it's not my weird, it's the book.
It's
you
the book
know?
weird.
So
Yeah. It's like, it's fun that we can do this together now and kind of talk about things that make us happy, things that like blew our minds or
Made
like,
us cry.
Made us cry. So it's really fun, and I am so excited to talk about the books that we have today. So we're gonna start off with August.
let's do August.
August wrap up. Magic.
Magic. Yes.
Can you edit sparkles?
You know what? If I can make sparkles happen with my limited editing capabilities, I will attempt sparkles for us.
Yeah.
And maybe a backtrack.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so this is our wrap up, our August wrap up, the books that we've read. Ooh, I almost kicked down my drink.
Oh, I know, I love it, right?
This
Our
is why
$1
we're-
million studio over here.
This is why we're called Chaos&Booklore, guys. Okay, you want to start with your obvious?
Oh my god, so mine is going to be very, very quick because I started reading and then we decided we wanted to do this together and I wanted a clean slate, so I was waiting till the end of the month.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I need to start fresh. I can't do this in the middle kind of situation. So, my first book, because I was also starting to write as well, based on your encouragement, was your recommendation, right? So, it was, I'm glad my mom died. And trust me, anytime I told people I was reading this, they were kind of shook. And I don't think it helped that I come from an ethnic background.
Where you have to respect your mother.
Right? So they were like, I feel like they were like, it's not just about respecting your mother, but it's also that like kind of resentment you hold in your heart because you have to respect them so much.
No matter what they've done. No matter what.
So I think this book was so relatable as a result of that. Oh,
Sorry,
someone's at the door. So we got distracted.
We got distracted. Hello.
Oh, my hair is such a mess.
Yeah, someone knocked on the door, so we were talking for a little bit. Now we're back, and I don't remember what we're talking about, but I think it was this book.
I love that book. That book was so great. It is everything. It's my book. I'm sorry, I'm tying my hair.
Yeah. It's okay, I'm holding it up for her. This is what you signed up for, Chaos.
Yeah. Oh god, okay, if the editing on this sucks, I'm sorry guys.
This is our first video, please
Be kind.
be kind.
Our transition. Don't kill me.
Okay, anyway, this novel, this memoir.
This biography, humorous biography, it was so
Relatable is what you were talking about.
Yes, it was relatable.
Mhm.
And I think, when I was talking to you about it and just going over it, I'm like, by the end of this book, no, I don't want to shade Jeanette's mom, but I'm like, I'm glad she died too. Damn. I'm so over it. I'm reading it, I'm just like, I just can't.
The title is very apt.
It's
very
very apt. I was just hoping, like, I also can never watch iCarly again,
Yeah.
ever in my life.
Yeah.
And I think it was a weird time for me to be reading this book with everything Ariana Grande has been going through as well. So
Really relatable.
to do it on a scale of how I felt about this.
Oh, we didn't get to talk about how we scale things in the introduction.
Oh shit. Are we allowed to swear on this thing?
We can just bleep it out. We swear, so you'll just we'll bleep it.
We'll bleep it.
We'll bleep it.
We'll bleep
You
it.
can bleep it, right?
I will try to do that in editing. If it doesn't, it's just gonna be random elevator music in the back, okay?
We'll mute it, and then it's elevator music.
Don't expect too much for my editing, okay?
Our rating systems.
Okay, I'm gonna do it out of 5.
You do it out of 5, okay?
I do it out of 5.
5 stars.
I do it out of 5 stars, and I think it's to align with our Goodreads as well.
Yeah.
On our Goodreads, we're not gonna be rating it because it's 2 of us on the account.
Yeah.
But I would give this a solid 4.
4. What's the criteria for your rating system?
What is the criteria? I think in terms of like I think first level is the way it reads, right? Like grammatically correct. I've been in situations where it's like I'm reading it and I'm like stuttering over like certain sentences and I'm
a little
like,
clunky.
it's clunky, it's not easy to read. The second is like the emotions it made me feel, and it critical thinking that it allowed me to process things as well. And then enjoyability.
Yeah.
And I think the final factor is if it's a book that I would pick up again.
Yeah.
If I would pick it up again and reread it.
I agree.
Is a good criteria for me. So what about you?
For my criteria, also 5 stars. I probably am more of like a mood reader. I go vibes, okay? So you can't trust my ratings because it's truly in the moment. It is in the moment of what I feel like. I take into consideration writing as well, and like plot and character and stuff like that, and that all generates my opinion. But a lot of it is how I feel about the book. If I absolutely despise the book, but the writing is amazing, it's like revolutionary, it's brilliant, but I didn't like the book, it's gonna be a 1 or 2 star. Like, no matter what. That's just the way I read things, sadly. That doesn't take away from the author being a fantastic writer.
Exactly.
It's just that I might have not vibed with the book. So take my ratings with a grain of salt. But I will always explain my ratings.
Exactly.
I always explain why. So don't take the ratings as a end all be all. It is more what I have to say about it that really matters.
Yeah, it's exactly. I think for both of us, we're the same when it comes to that. And I think that's why we love catching up with each other, because we talk about books as if it was our own gossip.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I would be like, I have so much tea. Oh my God. Yeah. So we love that because I'd rather gossip about characters in a book than actual people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
This is my second book, The Bloody Chamber. What's new? Right?
Horror.
But funny as hell. In this little tiny book, there are 10 short stories, jam-packed, but it reimagines the classics like Puss in Boots, but it's very female-centered.
Oh, that's really cool.
So it's the heroine saving the day. It's about female gratification, grotesqueness, but like in a way that always meets the end for women.
Okay.
So instead of it being about men and men saving the day, this is very feminine and feminist. So I loved it. This is something I would reread again. Actually, I've reread this.
Because she is waiting for September to start.
I am waiting for September to start, so I've reread this. I would give this a solid 5.
Nice.
I would give this a solid 5
5
because of the fact that it is so creative, so imaginative. It is everything gothic horror. I felt the emotions. I was going through all of the emotions. I felt like what it would feel like to be like a century woman, you know? But still not suffer.
Yeah.
You know?
Have that kind of like setting.
Yeah,
and
have that setting, but still with the feminist views of today.
Yeah.
So it was great, and I will definitely be rereading this again and again and again and again because it is that good. So that's me for August.
I read a few books. In
I know,
August.
she did. I'm so impressed.
Funny story. The very first book I read was A Little Life. And the funny story about this is that I started this in February of this year. And what month did we say we're in now? August?
We're in August.
This became my August book. I started reading this because I was working at a retail store that was it's kind of like casual but bougie, where like the t-shirts are like $50, you know, and our store was at like by the street, and we would open our windows up and a lot of people would come in, and just all of the people that would come in are all of these really like kind of rich, well-off people. So the people who could afford $50 shirts. And so most of them had this book. And they're like the artsy types, like the musician types, the rich white types, you know.
Sorry, wait, they had that book?
They had this book. They were reading, a majority of them were reading this book. Some of the people I was working with had read this book. And they all, whenever I asked about them, recommended that I read it. Okay? Every single one of them. Not a hesitation. Not a single hesitation when I asked, oh, how's the book? How is it? Is it good? And every single one of them was like, oh my god, it's so good. It's so life-changing. You should definitely read it. It's so sad. It's going to break your heart. And I'm like, you know what? I love a tragedy. Give it to me. And that was my mistake. That was my mistake.
Can I just pause her for a second? Because I have not read this book. But I went through it with her because she would call me to spill the tea on Jude. Okay?
And his little life.
Listen, I feel like this looks like a blank face.
And listen, it was my fault. I should have looked at the trigger warnings for this book, but I literally hadn't read in so long. I just wanted something that was good, right? I wanted something that would like grab me so I could start reading again, and I thought it would be this one. And so I got it in like the end of January, started reading it in February, I struggled to get through the first 50 pages, and then I put it down, and then I read like maybe a paragraph every other week until I got to July. And then in July, I was like somewhere in the 60s or 60, 70 pages.
She almost did not finish that book.
I almost DNF'd this book. And you know what's funny is the first part of this book, it was just slow. Nothing happened really. So it wasn't that I was like scared off by anything. It was literally just I was bored. And I didn't want to read anymore. And I think it's my fault that I started off with this book getting back into reading. That was a poor decision on my part.
I'm trying to contain my face. My face is not containing Jack.
It was a poor decision on my part because I really struggled through this. I really didn't get through the chunk of it until this month. This month was most of the reading that happened. Maybe like 600, 700 of the pages of this book was this month. The first 100 pages was
Is it because you unloaded on me and then you're like,
I think so. I think I was able to get through it because I had someone to talk to about it.
Emotional support therapy. Hi guys.
The first freaking how many months? February, January, March, April, May, June, July.
I swear I got tired of her holding this book. That I'm like, bro,
You need to read it.
not you need to read it. You need to tell me about why you're still holding on to this book. And then she's like,
I just want to finish it.
I saw the pain in her eye. This is what she looked like.
It's my first book.
It is literally the same face. She just made it.
And here's the thing. It's really well written. I think that Hanya Yanagihara, I can't even say her fucking name. Sorry, I'm beep.
Thank you. I'll just overlay that beep.
Yeah, like her writing is great, and she's a brilliant writer. And a lot of the times, the things that she's writing, I feel them. I feel it. I feel the pain and suffering, and I think that was a big part of the reason I didn't really like it. Because it was a constant pain. It wasn't like there was there was levity in between. It was just constant agony.
It's the face.
Yeah, literally.
I'm sorry, this face doesn't even cover it. I feel like this is not painful enough looking.
And it's just like, if you can think of a trigger warning, it's probably in this book. So if you are very sensitive to that, I actually don't recommend this. If you like literary novels, you might give it a try if you're not too squeamish about anything in particular, but it's not something I would recommend lightly, like at all. And I don't know why every single person I asked was just like,
have any
definitely
friends?
read it. I thought they were my friends.
I don't know. I don't know. Who are these people?
Well, some of them were strangers. Some of them were strangers. And some of it was book talk as well, because this was just going around book talk, right? And I should have known. I should have known. I don't know what to say. I like have really conflicted feelings because I just think it's so brilliantly written, and it's so good at getting you to feel things. But it's not a book I would ever want to read again. It's not a book I would recommend to anybody. It's not a book I would do anything with except set fire to. So I don't know.
I also think that because it was so, not that I read it, I did not read this.
I just filled her in on what
She just filled me in. We had many a FaceTime discussions about this book. Because like it was so back to back, it kind of felt, I don't know, you could tell me, kind of unrealistic.
Yeah.
And how they dealt with pain.
Yeah, a little bit. It's not that it was unrealistic. It was just more
I say
like
unrealistic because I feel like someone going through something that is kind of like back to back like that they would dissociate in some way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. In some way you kind of do that. And that's not really mentioned in this book. And I think my main problem with that is that I know the author didn't do research when writing this book about mental health or about disability or anything like that. And I think having that in the back of my head while reading it made me feel like this book was kind of like a torture porn, kind of trauma porn situation, which not all of it was, but it's what it felt like, knowing that the writer didn't do the research, right? Because she fully says that about this book. That much I know from like the little bit of interviews that I've seen. So it left a bad taste in my mouth, right?
Yeah, to put a character through
all of that
and not have it be two-dimensional.
Yeah.
And just have it be that one tone.
Yeah. And it's the thing is, like, Jude as a character feels very real.
Oh yeah,
he feels very real, but it feels literally like there's a god, the author,
who took Jude.
just like just like a punching bag for a punching bag.
Yeah,
for
it's
that.
okay. That's exactly how it felt.
And I really didn't enjoy it. I gave it, I think I gave it in my personal rating a 3.5 star.
3.5. Is it because for the writing?
For the writing.
Okay.
Specifically for the writing. Because I could not give it anything less. For the writing is just brilliant. I think the author is a very talented author. The topic and the subject matter
Needed more research.
Needed more done.
And you would think that it wouldn't, considering what it looks like.
It's 800 pages, guys.
You would think, but it needed some dimension.
It needed some dimension. And here's the thing. It needed some dimension, but you could also, like, take out 200 pages from this book and it would still have the same impact. So this could be, like, 600 pages. It could be 500 pages. And I feel like she'd be able to get it across because she's such a brilliant writer. But for some reason, so much is included. And I kind of think I get it. I think she wanted to pile on so much so that the reader would feel what Jude feels and feel that kind of sense of hopelessness and stuff like that. But it's like,
you still feel that.
You can still feel that without, like, going too far. Because some stuff is described in here, and I'm like, do we need that? Did we need to have that described? We could have just, like, insinuated that happened, and I would have still felt empathy and pain for it. But
I disagree. I feel like you're a very empathetic person. So you don't need as much details because you can be given like a snippet and then your mind will go wild.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, especially
some other
people, i.e. me,
will need a little bit more.
Would need a little bit more. So I disagree in that sense.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I think it's just having that extra layer.
Yeah. It's 100% intentional. Like, I understand and I know why the author did it. I didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
So that's the second book that I read. And then continuing on with like really good books actually. The other one I read was This Is How You Lose the Time War. And this one is very short because I didn't know if I was going to finish another book right after this The City We Became.
Yeah.
That took about like 6 days.
Oh my god, that's so great.
6 days to read. And then this one took about 2 to 3 days to read.
Ooh.
I have
nice.
Surprised when I picked it up because I just read the back of it and it was about like two rival agents through space and time writing letters to each other. Like it's a romance story, and I was like, hey, that's actually a really interesting premise for a story. I didn't know it was gonna be sapphic. And that was a really nice surprise for me. And it's also Canadian because one of the authors is Canadian.
I love that.
So I was super pleasantly surprised, and it's very poetic. I think you would actually really enjoy this novel.
Oh my god.
I think it should be one that you read because it's very poetic.
Love that.
It's very, very poetic. So it's told in segments of third person where things are being described to you. And then the rest of the chapter is the letters that they write to each other.
Oh.
So you get to read the letters. And it's so freaking sweet. I can't recommend it enough. If you like poetry,
yes,
it's something that you might want to pick up. And it's a really great love story. I can see some people thinking this is kind of pretentious though.
Oh.
I can see some people thinking this might be like overwritten and like pretentious poetry, whatever, right? But I like that. Okay, I like it. So I don't care what you think.
Stand your ground. Stand your ground.
It's really good. I really, really enjoyed it because the love story, a lot of people might think it's shallow, but I was eating it up. The way they describe things, I actually took pictures of passages that I really liked, which I never do.
Oh
I never do that. But I took pictures of passages in this book because it was just so sweet and so nice. I think I have one. Wait,
okay,
I'm gonna read one because it is so cute. And they're writing these letters to each other, okay? So imagine it being directed at you. Okay, so one of the first ones is, there's a kind of time travel in letters, isn't there? I imagine you laughing at my small joke. I imagine you groaning. I imagine you throwing my words away. Do I have you still? Do I address empty air and the flies that will eat this carcass? You could leave me for 5 years. You could return never. And I have to write the rest of this not knowing. I was like,
imagine like having your candles going with a glass of wine and you're just reading this.
It's so sweet. It's so scrumptious. The words, delicious. I loved it. I gobbled it up 3 days. It was really, really good. I fully recommend it if you do like poetry.
Yes.
If you are a romantic, I think you would also like it.
I'm not a romantic. That's the weird part. I don't think you're a romantic.
I am not either, but it was good.
Okay, so that is a very interesting fact because I don't think we love romance. I think that was one of those genres that we were like,
Yeah, romance is it's a palate cleanser for me. It's one of those things where I will read a romance, but it doesn't require much thinking to get through it for me. So I don't particularly read it.
I don't like romance. I don't want to be that vulnerable, okay? I just don't.
I don't mind reading romance.
No.
I don't mind reading romance, but it depends.
Okay. Next one.
Next one is the one I started actually yesterday.
Oh.
because I finished this. And I was like, you know what? There's still a couple of days left.
Oh my god. See, I'm so impressed by you because I couldn't do that to myself. I was like, I need to stop because if I don't start fresh in September, I'm going to feel like a failure for myself.
It's okay. I'm being ambitious, but
good for you.
I'm actually almost like 60% done of this book, and I started it yesterday. before the coffee gets cold.
Go ahead.
Technically, I'm not done, but I'm including this in a wrap up because I'm almost done.
I feel like you'll be done this maybe tomorrow or the day after.
Yeah, pretty much.
Within August.
Within August. Probably tonight if I really read.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it so far. This one is a good book. I don't know that it would be for everybody. It doesn't really have a lot of like action or like really exciting, fast-paced parts. It's a little bit medium to slow pace, I would say. But it's good. I like it. It's about a cafe where people are, well, you can time travel in this cafe pretty much.
Ooh.
And the only thing is that there's rules to the time traveling. And there's many rules to the time traveling. And it's about 4 people who are in that cafe who cross paths and kind of have interwoven, kind of connected stories, but not really. It's just very intriguing. It's
Love
very
that.
intriguing. It has a very melancholic, relaxed, calm narrative style. It's not very overly flowery, but I think that's because it's translated. It's translated, so I think some of the impact is lost. If you can get past that, if you can be okay with like the simple writing style, I think it might be a really good book to pick up. It's very calm, very wholesome so far. Second chapter made me cry. Because it deals with some things, and yeah, it's good though.
Oh my god.
So I'm really excited to finish this to see what happens, and I'll probably include this in the September wrap up
As well.
so we'll see about that.
So, we're in the next phase.
Sorry that was so long, guys. I read
She read a lot on our behalf, okay? Because our goal between the two of us was to get to 20 books. So she did a lot of the heavy lifting. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Speaking of which, our September
TBR.
So I will start because Demi did it again. She did it again. So before we started filming this, she was describing her read, and I'm like, I now have to. It's not that I bought it because of Demi. We actually both had a copy of this book.
Yeah.
Because we read the description and we're like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
But then when we were talking on FaceTime about Jude, I was like, you know what? This is something I want to read. And she's like, oh my god, I have this too. And so this became one of those books, and one of many that we both have a copy of.
Yes.
So this will be
Yeah.
something that I start in September.
Yeah, it was really funny because before filming this, I was literally telling her about what I felt about it, and she's like, "Okay, you know what? It feels very like fall for me, so I'm
Yes.
gonna include it."
Imagine like being at a cafe, right? Because I do this all the time. I go to a Starbucks, I sit there, I people watch,
Yeah.
you know, and have like,
Yeah.
you know, pumpkin spice latte
Yeah.
and
That
read
way?
this book.
Yeah, because I was actually describing how like this book feels like you are in that cafe. You're just relaxing and people
Yeah.
watching, and it's truly very observant.
Yes.
Like that's the type of book it is, and I really like that, and I hope you like it too.
I know. We could discuss. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
One of the first of many books that we are gonna read
Together. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited to discuss. I know we're gonna be on FaceTime just being like, what? But yes, just like we did with, you know, Jeanette McCurdy.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Exactly. So this is one of the books that I will be reading.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, we wanted to include Indigenous authors as well as part of our readings, especially in light of everything that Canada has experienced so far.
Or Canada has put people through.
Canada has put people through. Like, honestly, I'm not proud of our history.
Yeah.
I'm really not. And we need to recognize and appreciate our indigenous culture as well. And so I think it's important for both of us to diversify and then also support our indigenous authors. So I'm really excited to get into this as well. So this will also be one of my reads. I'm so excited.
I'm really excited to read more indigenous type books because it's crazy what our government has done to not just like the people but their land, right?
Yeah.
Like we are literally built off the backs of indigenous people, so it's probably time. It's been long overdue to really recognize their contributions, and especially creatively, because indigenous people have such crazy like creativity within their tribes. So it's something I'm looking forward to really exploring.
Yeah. I'm so excited about that too. And then to go back into research, for my own piece that I'm working on, we are going back to a tried and true classic, Virginia Woolf, A Room of One's Own. And so I'm excited to go back into it, really analyze it without being forced to write an essay on it.
Yes, true.
And so this is one of my comfort reads. I'm excited about that. And before I pass the baton on to you, we're both also reading a book that was provided to us by a member of our writing community.
On Twitter!
On Twitter! I'm so excited! So we'll be reading The Son of Akanga. And it sounds amazing.
Yeah. We're holding up the Kindle because it's a PDF.
It's a PDF.
We don't have the physical book.
We don't have the physical book.
But Shay will edit.
I will edit
the cover right here.
Will I?
Yes, you will.
Hold on. You know what? Just because I don't know if I'm that talented. Hold on. It's waking up. Holy. Would I edit the cover on there?
Up to you.
I don't think I can, bro.
To read for this month is actually the sequel to The City We Became.
Surprise, surprise. What's here?
Because I really enjoy that book, and I saw this in Indigo today. I literally just bought this today.
She just did some rearranging. Some very quick rearranging.
I bought this today and was just like, well, this is now going into my September because I want to know what happens.
Okay.
So I'm really excited to read this one. And then I guess this would be the fourth book, so this is technically the third.
Yeah.
The fourth book would be my indigenous book, which is Bad Cree. I was reading a little bit of the synopsis and I thought that it was really interesting. Again, I bought this today.
So,
lots of things changed when I went to the bookstore today.
A lot of last minute rearranging has happened.
But I'm really excited to read this. Yeah, I want to know what it's about. It has fantastical like elements to it. That's all I remember from the synopsis. Is that like the main girl like all of a sudden has these dreams that she was having all of a sudden chase her into real life, and that sounds like right up my alley.
We have a lot happening. I know that we have set a goal for ourselves in September, so I'm excited to see how we will do.
Yeah, I have backup books in case I do finish these. I don't know.
We don't know. We have to figure out what the writing is like.
Yeah.
Just to understand where we're going to be in our reading journey. I know that we started out with a stack. It can be totally different by the time we end.
Yeah.
But
it'll be a surprise.
It's a process.
But this is why we are called Chaos&Booklore, because what are plans?
What are they? I have no clue.
And so yeah, we're gonna end that today.
Yes.
We might do a mid-month wrap-up. We'll see how that goes.
Yes. If you do want to catch up with us and see how we're doing, we do have our Patreon open and we'll do weekly check-ins with each other.
Yeah.
But we're going to be doing that through video call just so that it's easier for us and we can do like a check-in with each other to let us know how we're going, to spill the tea on our characters.
Yeah. We also have TikTok.
Yeah.
All of our socials below.
Yes.
I don't want to list them all.
Yeah.
But they're all below, and we try to use most of them, some more than others. So you can choose your preferred ones.
Yes.
We mainly use TikTok and Instagram though.
I've actually been on Twitter too.
Oh,
I've been on Twitter.
She's more the Twitter sphere because
but
like
honestly, my thing is I'll go on there and I'll see different things, and it's so funny because I'm so tempted to like them because I didn't post it; it was her. So
yeah,
we love that for each other.
Yeah.
So I'll go on there, it's a surprise, and she'll go on there, it's a
it's
surprise.
a surprise. It's always a surprise.
So if you want to try to figure out who's who,
I think it's pretty easy to tell once
Is
you
it?
get to know us. Once you get to know us, it's funny because we work so well together, but we're like completely opposites
no, we're not.
in some ways. Dark horror, sci-fi.
I know, but it's like in the same tone.
It is.
It's in the same tone of
It's
literature.
It's funny because like I think for us, it's that we have to have some whimsy.
Yeah.
There has to be some whimsy in the writing.
Yes.
If there's no whimsy, what's the point?
Exactly. Why would you do that? That's like watching a show to escape your life, and it was just your life. That one Black Mirror episode, like everyone hates Joan, and it's about you.
And it's just like I came here for the fun times, not the sad times.
I mean, no, I'm in it for the sad times.
I
I'm
am
so
also.
in it for the sad times.
I am as well.
You know, it makes
But not our sad times.
Yes.
Somebody else's sad times.
Yes. What's the point? I'm a gossip auntie, okay? I want to gossip
Same.
with my friend about characters in a book that is not similar to anything I'm like.
That is true.
Yes.
So we'll update you on all of the readings and stuff in our socials, or at the end of the month we're probably gonna come out with another video.
I don't know if we're gonna look the same, if we're still gonna be friends.
I hope we're still friends.
I know.
Considering we just started.
It's like,
By the way, that's our last video.
oh yes, that's it. We had to go. I'm kidding. No. Honestly, we've been through everything.
Yeah. We've been like friends for longer than 15 years.
Yes. I only trust someone that I can call out and they can call me out. They can check me.
Mm-hmm.
We check each other.
Mm-hmm.
So,
We've known each other for a
and
long
we
time.
do it in such a respectful way. So,
So we're looking forward to having you join us on this journey and just have fun, talk about books, recommend us books.
Yes.
Eventually you'll really get to know what our tastes are or what our moods are like.
Yeah, and I think more so, like, honestly, feel free to gossip about your characters. You know?
If you have some tea to spill
tea to spill about your books.
about your books,
Honestly,
we'd love to hear it.
I kind of miss Jude.
I don't.
I miss him. I miss him. He
I
was
do.
so juicy.
I do not miss.
That last half, he was just juicy.
So much happened.
I know so much happened, and I'm like, man.
I do not miss Jude, please.
I miss Jude because I didn't have to read him, so. I got the tea, so.
She got it secondhand. I got it splashed on me. You know?
Alright, we're gonna go, guys. We're gonna go.